let's move on to 2A regional action. Winchester at Woodlan. This is one of the more intriguing matchups to me because you're talking about power running game versus power running game and who's going to come out victorious. This is a slobber knocker type old school football game that if you're a traditionalist football fan, you want to see this on Friday night.
Yeah, and I almost thought we were guaranteed to go to Eastbrook this week. I thought Eastbrook was going to take care of Winchester, and Winchester just laid the wood. They got behind early and then just blew Eastbrook out, who was undefeated going into last week. So tremendous challenge for Woodlan. I've looked at it the last couple weeks, and Woodlan just keeps getting by and keeps getting by and keeps getting by. They're going to have to play to their full potential this week to have a shot against Winchester, in my opinion.
Curtis Enos,
yes,
you're a Bears fan, so you know what he's capable of.
His amazing brother.
Yeah, nephew.
Was it a nephew?
Nephew. Yeah, Keontae.
Yeah.
He is verbally committed as a running back to go to the University of Michigan. Jim Harbaugh says, I like this guy in Winchester, Indiana. Got to be pretty darn talented.
Yes.
He's also 6'2", about 200 pounds, looks like a brick house.
He does.
Second in the state with almost 2,300 yards rushing, 40 total touchdowns this season, albeit, not the competition perhaps of the SAC or the Northeast 8, but pretty big deal. How do they go about slowing down this guy? He rushed for over 3,000 yards last year.
That kid's tough. He had a basketball scholarship offered by IPFW. He's a dual sport athlete, just a phenomenal basketball player. He could play either in college, really. But when Michigan comes calling with a scholarship, nobody's saying no to Jim Harbaugh. At least people that want to survive, So very tough challenge for that Woodlan defense. I think you look at it and who have they played that has had the quality of athletes that Winchester's going to be put on the field on Friday? Tough to find one, right? So that's the big challenge for that Woodlan defense is they're used to really taking control of games and pushing it and on the ground with Mitchell Van Brockelen and guys like that. Now they're going to face a team in Winchester can do the exact same thing with a lot of speed. And I think Woodlan has been so successful because they're playing a lot of teams who just cannot match up with them athletically. Winchester is going to be able to match up with them athletically on Friday.
The thing that scares me about Keontae is you got Garrett Elder from Whitco last week running for 200 yards on Woodland's defense.
Yeah.
And then you got this guy who's going to play at the University of Michigan coming in the next week. How much do you have to button up that attack? Because you got Boo Enos, who's a sophomore. I mean, this is all Enos all the time.
What's your nickname?
Right here on the, exactly. Right here on Inside the Zone. You got a sophomore wide receiver. He had 2 touchdown catches last week, was actually a really big factor in that game because Eastbrook is a quality football program.
Yeah.
So you got 2 of those guys against this Woodland defense. How concerning is that for you if you're Sherwood Haydock and the defensive staff on this
I don't think
team?
anybody's going to admit it over Woodland, but they got to score points. They got to score a lot of points on Friday to win. So as much as they're going to prepare that defense and try to slow down or stop that Winchester offense, I think it's going to be straight up that offense of Woodland needs to come out and score almost every time it has the ball to have a shot. And if they're able to put slow, methodical drives and keep that ball away from Winchester, all the better. But this is not going to be a 14-13 game, in my opinion. This game is going to be won by a team probably that gets in the 30s and maybe even 40 first. So Woodland, score.
But we've seen, to Woodland's credit, we know we talk about how maybe they're a team of destiny because they only win tight games by a couple points, whatever. They haven't really blown anybody out recently. I say forget it all because they are still winning. They still find a way to win against some good quality opponents recently in East Side. Last week against Whitco and then Adams Central. I mean, 3 of the last 4 weeks have been tough ones, and they've pulled it out. That's a credit to them because learning how to win, especially in a tight situation, that's a skill.
Yeah, and you hope they're learning how to win and they're adjusting and saying, maybe we won those games, we still got to get better, as opposed to, look at us, we're still undefeated, we continue to win, we keep continuing to find ways to win, and they're not buying more into that undefeated record and buying more into, we won, but we got to keep getting better. So that's the balance, and that's, if there's anybody that can do it, it's Sherwood Haydock, and I'm sure he's pushing that into his kids. We cannot be content just because we're undefeated, because it's just going to keep getting harder and harder and harder, and they've survived thus far. But the challenges become greater and greater and greater. Winchester's a great challenge on Friday.